Hi Floss Tube, this is Heather, the 20-Minute Stitcher, coming at you. Today is Sunday, October 8th, and this is my Floss Tube episode 50. Woo! If I had planned ahead, I would have had some cool stuff, but we'll save that for 100 or 75 or maybe 51, because why do we always have to do things on the big numbers? I don't know. I'm clearly in a mood today. Good morning, everyone. It is early morning filming this today, so that's probably why I'm a little weird, because I'm not fully awake yet, but that's fine. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. So happy to have you here. This is my little corner of the internet where I share my hobby of cross stitch. It is my therapy. It is my relaxation, my meditation, as it is, I know, for so many of us. So if you are new here, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And let's go ahead and get right in. So the last 2 weeks, I really focused on finishing up my September WIPGO projects. And in October, I've only stitched on one thing so far. If you're watching my extras, you know what it is. I'm really determined to keep up with this SAL. I've never kept up with this SAL. This one's easy though, because it's really it's over at the end of the month. So as long as I have it done by the end of the month, I'm good to go. There's not you have to be done by this day. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get into things. Excuse me. I'm a little froggy this morning. Fortunately, not the cross stitch kind. Let's hope it stays that way. So I only have 4 projects to show today. So let's start with finishing out my September. Y'all, I had two episodes in a row where I was so good about taking my pictures after I was done filming, so I would be able to say, here's where I was last time. Yeah, I totally forgot to do that after my last video, so I don't have that today. I'm sorry. I know I love it when floss tubers remember to do that, so I'm trying to be better. Anyway, let's get started. First pattern I have to show is Crow from the Halloween Friend Stitch pop-up gathering. This is a collaborative design between Bent Creek and Heart and Hand, and he's adorable. And this is where he is now. So I got to the point where I basically can just fill in, with the exception of the little details in his feathers down here that are unstitched. So the last time you saw him, he had, I think, just one row of the fill-in of the black done at the top. And so everything else there at the top that's done has been added. This is the project I keep kind of with me for stitching in the car when I'm waiting for my kids or things like that. So to date, he hasn't gotten a whole lot of dedicated stitching time. It's kind of 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But I mean, even with that, stitching gets done. But he is on my Whip Down SAL list to finish in 2023. So I probably ought to take him out of the bag I keep him in and put him in the house, because he's a great sit and watch football stitch, because once I get the feather details down here outlined, it's just filling in and I don't have to pay attention to anything. But that is Crow. So I just have him to finish, and then the pumpkins and the vine on top, and it's a done. Yay, yay. All right. The other 2 projects I worked on the rest of September were my September WIPGO. So the first one was Let's Rejoice by Imaginating Ink, and that is this one. And I only stitched on him, I think, 1 more day after my last video, so the progress is going to be nominal. Let me get my Needleminder out of the way. There's a big old hedgehog right in the middle of his wing. And here is where I ended the month of September on this project. So I have basically his whole top half done. This one stitches pretty quickly. I really enjoy backstitch. I think I shared that before. So this one is fun. This one was not originally on my Whip Down SAL goal list, but I might be adding him because it would be nice to have him done for the holidays this year. This is being stitched on a 28 count white opalescent Lugana, and it's just being stitched with the called for DMC colors, which I think are 796 and 799 maybe. Funny story here, I completely lost this dark blue bobbin. I don't know where it went. it just poofed, it vanished. So I had to go buy a new skein. But there he is. And then most of the rest of September was spent finishing my next Whip Go call, which is Haunted Fur by Kit and Bixby. Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm talking while I'm still packing. Okay. Haunted Fur by Kit and Bixby. That is this pattern here. So my goal on this one, for some reason, my goal on Let's Rejoice was only 6 days, and my goal on this one was 10. I don't know why. But that's this little guy. This is being stitched on a hand-dyed, 16 count, I believe, Ada. That was hand-dyed by one of my friends, Nessa. And here is where I am now. So I actually have added quite a lot to this since the last time I showed it. I think the last time I showed it, I had perhaps finished this cat and done the little eyes and mouth on this jack-o'-lantern. So I finished that jack-o'-lantern. I finished this cat up here. I stitched the bottom and top borders here. You can't really see the green and orange alternating X's up here because they're very light, but I stitched all of those. I started to stitch a couple of the leaves. So this one got a lot of love, and it's so cool. There's a part of me that wants to like finish it out, but I know there's more stitching left than I think there is. So I think this one's probably going to get put away again until next spring or so, but I think it is going to go. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do next year. I mean, I will probably do Whip Go again because it actually has been, I've enjoyed it and I've met my goals, and so I'm making progress, which is great. But I've been so focused on Whip Go that I also have not started. I mean, I actually have started a lot of projects, but there are a lot of other projects that I want to start. And life is short. So I'm trying to decide how I'm going to balance starts and whips next year. Would love to hear what you guys are doing. If you want to share in the comments what your plans are. I know Pam of Just Keep Stitching is doing 24 starts in 2024. So she started a hashtag for it. I think it's 20, is it 24 and 24 or 24 starts in 24? I don't recall. If I think of it, I'll put it down below, what she's calling the hashtag. And it's 24 planned starts in 2024. So she's still giving herself permission for the unplanned starts. But she has sort of her Stitch Before I Die list, and she's getting those patterns kitted up and planning to start them in 2024. So I'm kind of thinking I might join her. I don't know. I also have a lot of whips, and I'm okay with a lot of whips, but I am getting to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, I have a lot of whips, and it's starting to stress me out a little bit. So would love to hear what you're doing and kind of what your thought process is. All of us obviously are going to do our own thing, but I like hearing what other people are doing. It gives me ideas for how I might want to approach mine. All right, so that closed out September. October 1st started the Forbidden Fiber Company Clue Halloween Mystery Stitch Along box. Excuse me. And that's all I've been stitching on in October. I've been having a ton of fun with it. I've been loving it. I've been filming the little extras of me opening the envelope each time. I've been opening envelopes every kind of 2 or 3 days. There's only 13 envelopes. So it's not like one of the ones where there's one for every day of the month. And I've been trying to keep up with the SAL. I haven't really been, but here is, if you've not been watching my extras, here is where this one sits right now. So I ordered the 25 count Lugana. I ordered the 25 count Lugana thinking I was going to stitch 1/1, which is how I usually like to stitch 25 count Lugana. But then opened the first envelope and noticed that this pattern has fractional stitches and decided, no, I'm not going to try and like stitch fractional stitches 1/1. So I switched to 2/2, but did not care for the coverage 2/2 on the dark color here in the house, which is called Revolver. You can see where I had to frog a little. I have to get those little fuzzies off. So I decided to stitch the Mansion 3 strands over 2 and pray that there was enough floss. You can see there was not. But the amazing Leanne at Forbidden Fiber Co. is sending me more because she's amazing. So this is all I have worked on in October is this pattern, and I'm having so much fun with it. But And I am grateful because the Whip Go calls this month, one of the numbers was a pattern that I finished earlier in the year. So I really only have one Whip Go call to work on this month. Thank goodness, because this guy is taking a lot of my time. Oh, and I should mention, I said 25 count Lugana. The color of this fabric is called Conservatory. So if you are not a follower of Forbidden Fiber Company, or if you're not familiar with this box, it's a mystery stitch along, right? So there are 13 envelopes in the box. And it's because it's Clue themed, which if you're not familiar with the board game Clue, it is a murder mystery board game. You have a board that has sort of all the rooms in this mansion where Mr. Body was killed, and you find clues to eliminate them from the answer. And then sort of at the beginning of the game, someone secretly, without looking at them, takes like one suspect card, one weapon card, one room card, puts them in an envelope. That's the answer, right? That's Mrs. Peacock, killed Mr. Body in the library with the wrench, right? Those would be the 3 cards in that envelope. And so then the rest of the game is process of elimination, right? You're finding clues to eliminate suspects, eliminate weapons. So as we're opening each envelope, things are marked with little tags that say it's a clue. And so then we know, oh, okay, that's not it. So because this fabric is called Conservatory, we know, okay, the murder did not take place in the conservatory, so we can eliminate that clue. So it's kind of a fun game that we're playing along with as we go. So having lots of fun with that this month. But I do have one other Whip Go call that I'm actually very excited got called in October, because it is a Halloween themed stitch that I have not touched. I don't even know the last time I touched this project, but I love it and I'm very excited to go back to it. So my Whip Go call for October is When Witches Go Riding. I'll put a picture of the finished pattern by Tiny Modernist. And this is essentially my starting point. I shouldn't say essentially. This is all I have stitched on it so far. So this will be my starting point in October when I finally get around to it. And my goal is to add 1,000 stitches to it. I'm at a point where there's a lot of backstitch. I'm not really sure how I'm going to count that, because my markup RXP doesn't count backstitch. So I might just say, okay, well, then that's bonus, I guess. We'll see. But I'm very excited to get started working on that soon. That's all the stitching I have to show for you. I have a few acquisitions, really just one since the last time I filmed, but then 2 that I forgot to share in my last video. So I'll show those quickly and then we'll be out of here. So the ones I forgot to show from my last video, I felt so badly when I realized I forgot to show them, because they're 2 things that I was so excited about. So the first, I can't wait to start using this, is I have been wanting one of Uncanny Arcanist's sushi needle minders for a very long time, but they hadn't been in his shop. He hadn't made new ones. He made new ones. So I got my little Tamago sushi roll. He's adorable. He's so cute. And I have to put this on Instagram. I have to do him the favor of the social media tag because it's just the most adorable little thing ever. So when I was young, we lived in Japan, and my dad and I, like, our thing was to go to a nearby sushi stall and get like a tray of sushi. And like I was 3 years old and eating whatever they put on their sushi. I mean, eel, urchin, everything. But the tamago, the basically like egg custard omelet is what tamago is, has always been my favorite. Even to this day, when we go to get sushi, I always order tamago. You typically order individually because of the type of sushi it is, the nigiri sushi. And so I'll always get 2 or 3 along with everything else. So I was very excited to get that needle minder. And then the last thing was I had shared with you, there it is on the wall. There we go. Nope. There. Nope. Wait, hold on. There it is. Why is it so hard to point backwards like that? When I went to the 141 retreat and learned how to fully finish that project on its board, I felt so empowered after that. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not scared of rickrack anymore, and like how to do these things. So I went on to Etsy, to Hollis Hands Creates shop, which I love. And I went, I would say a little crazy, but I only got 4 things. I don't think that counts as going crazy. But I got finishing FFOing supplies, for some of the pieces that I want to finish fairly soon. So I got Rick Rack in the color Coraline, which is kind of like a coral color. In the color Sizzle, which is just a bright true red. In the color Jack, which is a lighter orange. And then I got some chenille in the color Union. So I'm very excited to do some FFOing with those things. And then the last acquisition I have, Michelle Bendy made me do it, is the water box from Forbidden Fiber Company. So I am part of Michelle's Patreon, and in one of her patron-only videos, so I guess I should back up. The Forbidden Fiber Company is doing an Elementals series this year, where she's going through all 4 elements, and you get basically a mystery project bag with goodies. And the first one was water, and Michelle Bendy, Bendy Stitchy Designs, was the guest designer for it. And for things like this, I typically wait until they're released and then like see if I like the pattern and then hope that there are extras, which usually there are, and you can buy them individually on the website. But then Michelle showed her patrons on a patron-only stream her pattern, and I said, oh no, I must have it. So I ordered the box. So this is the pattern. It's called Water Quaker. And I love that, you guys. I'll get the flosses out and show them because the photos never do it justice, right? But this says, nothing is softer or more flexible than water, yet nothing can resist it. And I've had to resist the urge to just like start it the second I got it. And so these are the flosses. There's a coal, right? So kind of your blackish, your dark gray black, and then these beautiful hues of blue. Love it. And it came on, I ordered a 32 count Belfast linen, and the color is Spellbound. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. And it came with, even though the pattern doesn't call for beads, it came with these beautiful elemental water beads. Or at least I don't think it calls for beads. I didn't see anything on the pattern. But I might have to find some fun places to put them in because they're very pretty and they match the flosses. And then a Needleminder that is the same logo as the project bag. And then a eucalyptus shower steamer, right? Because it's water. But so that was my only other acquisition, and I'm resisting the urge to start that right away. I have so many sad starts, things that I was excited to start. I stitched on them for like 2 days, and then like a crow, like, ooh, shiny, other new thing. We get in that way sometimes, right? And that's okay. That's the beauty of stitching. So that is all I have for you today. This one's a really short one. I guess that's what happens when I'm only stitching on one project. But I hope you enjoyed. Thank you, as always, for spending some of your valuable time with me. If you are new here, I hope you liked what you saw. I would love if you would click that subscribe button, like the video, do all the YouTube-y things that we're supposed to do. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you, as always, for spending some of your time with me. Would love to hear what you're stitching on this spooky season. Would love to hear your thoughts as we start to look ahead to 2024 and think about what ways we want to challenge ourselves or what games we want to play to keep our stitching fun. Would love to hear what you're planning. And I guess that's it for me today. Have a fabulous day, everyone. As always, hug your loved ones, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Happy stitching. Bye.